Welcome to the Build Business Acumen podcast, where we deliver practical knowledge and powerful guidance. Here is your futuristic host, Nathaniel Schooler.
So today I'm joined by Dan Yarmoluk, who's an adjunct professor in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and he loves a bit of IoT as well, sort of industrial Internet of Things kind of stuff. And Craig Truempi, and he's into AI, big data, machine learning, same as Dan really. And yeah, he's a director of AI and IoT, digital ecosystems. So we just talk about the latest updates from Think 2019 and what's kind of happening in machine learning, AI, hype. And also, we talk about how to set an early warning system for your mother-in-law. So, I'm quite excited to speak to you guys. It's nice to meet you, Craig. And
yes, thank you.
Nice to see you again, Dan. So what's been happening over at Think in San Francisco today?
Well, I think there's hundreds and hundreds of sessions of thought leadership, of innovation, but really, I get the feeling like the dialogue overall is this multi-cloud, hybrid cloud strategy and the migration path. Right. And that migration path can be an emphasis on cloud, or it can be an emphasis on the AI machine learning for the future. But getting more tangible, more hands-on coding development workshops. I mean, Craig, who is a double E engineer from industry for years, went through a code development little thing where build a chatbot in an hour. So just hands-on work. And I'll pause for a minute.
Yeah, it was a chatbot in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow. It was amazing. It was hands-on, and it was using their model to build yourself a chatbot. And so I haven't programmed or coded in probably 20 years, really. And although I didn't step that far away from it, but we got in and we did it, and it worked. So it was pretty cool.
Wow. So that's actually already kind of stacked up with questions and answers. So if I come in there and and I ask it a stupid question, or I swear, or I do something, it's going to come back to me with an answer, right?
Right. So you build the questions that you think somebody might ask, and you then lay out the tree on how the answers might play out. But the interesting thing is, when you lay out your questions, you don't have to have all the questions there. It has AI or Watson built into it, where he will go, or she, whatever Watson is, and will develop kind of that grayness. So if somebody asks a question similar but not exactly, it'll figure it out.
Right. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That is pretty cool. So even to the last workshop we just got out of 5 minutes ago was cloud migration strategies. Okay. And they have a chat bot to kind of chat with you to discover which workloads do you want to shift to the cloud. So AI begets AI from the cloud journey to enable your AI personalized, initiatives, meaning I want predictive analytics in the plant, but I don't know what to shift to the cloud. So therefore, this cloud kind of automation says, this workload on this server is so heavy, therefore you might want to shift that to the cloud. So it's all converging. It's this convergence and collaboration, sharing. And one thing's for sure is when you look at this large partnership network, we all got to leverage each other's tools. It's the integration of all this massive amounts of very siloed IT systems and getting it together. And that integration is not easy, but it's getting better, I think. I'm more refreshed after 365 days from last year to where the industry is getting. I like the way the dialogue is moving. I mean, at the end of the day, I really feel like I've been sprinting for 3 years. I can't catch my breath, but can't absorb, as you know, with all the guests that you have, that it just keeps coming and coming, and it's just super exciting,
It is, and it's getting more real. Like there was a number of customer presentations kind of talking how they're using this technology. And then I come from the OT side of things, operations side. And this is heavy IT people here. but you see them learning our vocabulary and us learning theirs. And there were people that I met that were really asking some very good questions around OT, and I assumed they were plant side people, and they were IT people. And so that's
Right.
refreshing. That's kind of confirming the convergence is occurring.
Right. I think there's quite a bit of misunderstanding though around how IoT works and around how machine learning works and AI. I was talking to a friend of mine today. He does a lot of stuff for himself. He's a programmer, but he actually builds, Internet of Things. So he's like, well, how do I set because he's got a girlfriend. So how do you set a warning system for your girlfriend's mother, right? So you ping it. It's quite a simple process, isn't it? Like all of this is actually quite simple. Like he broke it down for me, and before that I was quite sort of confused about it. But in essence, it is quite simple. But I think a lot of people just add complexity to everything, and they use fancy words that confuse people. And it's like, look, if I'm gonna set a system so that I tell Alexa to organize it for me, and then my mother-in-law arrives and the lights go off and the curtains shut automatically. Actually, setting that up is quite simple, guys, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's become a lot easier.
It's become a lot easier. I mean, and this is
do that then, Dan, when your mother-in-law comes round.
Well, Craig and I, all kidding aside, we just said we could build a chatbot on text to respond to our wives, complaints when we're traveling. So, but we got to make sure that we ask the right questions at the chatbot, so we don't screw up and get caught. So we have loving responses just auto-generated at the right time. I mean, I think we should do it and see if we can pull it off.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. I mean, and the art of the possible. The question that I always come back, and the reality is, they have to know the data set and the domain, which is is Craig right here, knowing that data, because of the model, the tool, right, the vessel. What is the output, and is that beneficial? And he's rejected a lot of machine learning companies because the insights he generates is 30, 60, 90 days in advance, like with your father on the factory floor. And the machine learning guys were getting 1 or 2 days in advance, and that's just not going to work at the factory. So this is a collaborative effort of technologists and professionals, and they're open, and Think is here to discover and learn. And even as communicators or integrators, it's confusing. So it's confusing to a lot of people because there's so much advancements coming out every direction. And you look no further than the auto industry to see the insanity or mashup of these technologies. That was really inspirational at the IoT with Dr. Kareem Youssef, the IoT Watson guy. And he had the Mercedes guy last year, if you remember. I don't know if you were there at the Jaguar Land Rover. So mobile entertainment battle, electrification battle, autonomous vehicles, people's millennials, choices changing. And then Industry 4.0 on the factory floor, and collaboration to elevate everything going on. And communication is just like insane. And they were talking that Mercedes and BMW have a joint partnership for electrification, and like E3 or something, or I think it was called,
right.
Where they're going to share this autonomous vision and electrification vision. So it's just super exciting. I just hope to learn from these smart guys and apply it in our own little way, in a meaningful way. I think we will be, we're not going to be unemployed anytime soon, I think, with all this.
Yeah, I agree. As long as we keep up with learning. I mean, that's what this is all about, isn't it? It's about just understanding that, you haven't just got out of university, you don't know everything, and you need to learn. And wherever you are in your career, if you're not learning, you're dying. I've been saying this for years, but no one really took me seriously until all this stuff sort of started happening,
Yeah, that's, we can kind of go to that point. Ginny, at the keynote, and I think this is important in a global context, in the visa issues and the technical skills gaps, was talking about a lady who stayed at home. She was like going to be getting a PhD in rocket science. She stayed at home for 20 years. And then she called it a re-internship, coming back into the workplace with certifications, not just old school degrees. And an Army guy, and then a young, intellectual prodigy type, like looking at it all. And I thought that was inspiring, right? Because you and I both went through that journey of going back in and trying to reboot what we're doing with what we know. And that's what it's going to take. So I thought that was very meaningful about diversity of thought and opinion, but also how are we going to get there with these shortages? Because there's just shortages of these skilled, qualified people.
Oh, yeah.
And learning, and that's what we're trying to do. I mean, also in my little experience with Craig, I've been taking him to these data science conferences, not because I know, but to show him a tool set that he can employ. And then this beautiful things have happened with stuff like serverless functions and AI. So it's been fun. I just want to get to work with all this stuff now, and
Right.
I'll talk about it anymore.
What's your take then, Craig? What excites you the most out of all of this?
Well, a couple of things that Dan mentioned. One, I wanted to just drill down a little bit farther was on the data side of things. So there's a quote in an earlier conference that was, data makes the difference between average AI and great AI. And so, when you're looking at doing these magnificent things with AI and you're looking to pull the data that's available to you, is that average data, is that going to get you the great AI? Do you have to think hard about adding measurements that are meaningful to solve the problems that you're looking at? And so it was refreshing to hear the people that are in that AI circle understanding that the data stream makes the difference. And so that was rich. The other piece that was kind of exciting for me, we're doing a lot of things with the sensors in the IoT space, but it was the acknowledgement that it's the AI plus IoT that really gains the value, right? It's about that insight that AI has the ability to process or analyze this data in a meaningful and textual way and automate some of that analysis so we can get to the action where the value is created. And so many times I think IoT can end at the alert stage, and the alert isn't what we've seen in industry. It's not enough to get the action. To tie it out with artificial intelligence into natural language and integrate it to existing people systems like the IBM Maximo work order system.
What does that do then, Craig? Sorry to interrupt you there.
Sure. So with that, the IBM Maximo system is a maintenance management system, a work order system for maintenance. And they say, if it's not in Maximo, the work doesn't get done. So by automating this alert to integrate with Maximo and generate that automated work order, that work has a better chance of getting recognized, getting listed, eliminating some of the administrative tasks that can be the obstacle or barrier or delay, and get that work done and actually get the value and business results.
Right. It makes a lot of sense. I think there's a lot of things that can be automated that can save us a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of effort. And, as far as I can see, I think it is an exciting time right now, but I think also for a lot of people, they're quite worried. And I don't think they need to worry because, the companies that have this technology, IBM and all the others, because there are many others, IBM isn't just the only one. It is a leader, there's no doubt. But, you've got a lot of companies that are using it. And I don't think they need to worry because those companies don't want the global economy to crash because, the more people that are out of work, the less money is available, then everything just goes wrong, right? Consumerization would, in essence, die. That's could be a byproduct, right?
Right. But we see even in our businesses that we have in manufacturing that hiring talent is very difficult today. So the automation of some of that is it's ripe to keep the businesses running. And you see the demographics of, that tribal knowledge exiting these companies. And so can AI fill that growing gap? It's not about replacing, people that are willing and interested to work. It's replacing the demographic of people that are leaving and making it easier and more tech for the people coming in that want and accept the technology. So I think there's timing that is making this very, very appropriate.
That's a very good explanation. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate that. It's been great talking to you guys, and I hope we'll speak soon. But I'm going to get going because it's kind of getting on a bit here, and I want to cut this up and post it.
Okay, sounds great.
Thanks, Nate. We'll talk soon, buddy.
Very cool. See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. Please subscribe, and wherever you prefer, share with your friends. And if you enjoyed the show, drop us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen.